Deep inside a dark and ancient forest, under the silver glow of the moon, a gigantic elephant stood beside a hidden waterfall. The forest was completely silent. And then, a golden tear slowly rolled down from the elephant's eye. Clink! The tear turned into pure gold as it touched the rocks below. Villagers hiding behind the trees gasped in shock. Gold! One greedy man whispered excitedly, "If we capture this elephant, we will become richer than kings." But nearby, an old sage quietly warned them, "That elephant is no ordinary creature. There is a terrible secret behind those golden tears." The next morning, news of the mysterious elephant spread across the entire kingdom. Inside the royal palace, ministers and soldiers gathered before the king. One greedy minister stepped forward eagerly. "Your Majesty, if the stories are true, that elephant can make our kingdom the richest in all of India." The king looked surprised. Does such a creature truly exist? The villagers nodded nervously. "Yes, Maharaja. Every night the elephant cries real gold." The minister smiled greedily. "Allow me to capture it." But standing quietly nearby, Tenali Raman watched silently. Something about the story did not feel right. That evening, Tenali Raman travelled deep into the forest with a few soldiers. The deeper they walked, the darker and colder the jungle became. Suddenly, a soft crying sound echoed through the trees. The soldiers froze in fear. That must be the elephant. Slowly, they moved closer to the waterfall. And there it stood, a giant elephant beneath the moonlight. Golden tears rolled gently from its eyes. Plink, plink. Tiny pieces of gold formed on the ground. The soldiers stared in amazement. But Tenali noticed something unusual. The elephant did not look dangerous. It looked heartbroken. Tenali whispered softly, "Animals do not cry without a reason." Suddenly, the greedy minister arrived with hunters and ropes. "Capture it now," he shouted. The hunters threw massive ropes around the elephant. The frightened creature roared loudly. Birds flew into the sky. The earth trembled beneath their feet. But then, the elephant suddenly stopped struggling and slowly looked directly at Tenali Raman. Another golden tear fell from its eye. For a moment, Tenali felt as if the elephant was silently begging for help. But the minister laughed greedily. "Take it to the palace." The elephant was dragged away in chains, and all through the night, it continued crying golden tears. The minister smiled proudly. "We are rich." The next morning, something terrifying happened. The golden stones suddenly turned black, then slowly crumbled into dust. The minister panicked. "What is happening?" Soon, the palace gardens began drying up. Village wells lost their water. Farm crops started dying across the kingdom. Dark clouds covered the sky. People became frightened. An old woman cried, "Ever since the elephant was captured, misfortune has entered our land." The worried king turned to Tenali Raman. "Find the truth behind this immediately." Late that night, Tenali secretly visited the chained elephant alone. The giant creature sat silently in pain. Its eyes were filled with sadness. As Tenali moved closer, he noticed an ancient symbol carved onto the elephant's necklace. Suddenly, he remembered an old legend. Long ago, a sacred elephant protected a hidden forest temple. The ancient story said, "The elephant cries golden tears only when nature suffers, and whoever captures it for greed will bring destruction upon themselves." Tenali finally understood the truth. The elephant was not creating wealth. It was warning humanity.
The next morning, the greedy minister demanded more gold. We must force it to cry again. But Tenali stepped forward angrily. Enough! The elephant is not cursed. Our greed is the real curse. The entire royal court fell silent. Tenali explained the ancient legend to the king. The king looked deeply ashamed. We made a terrible mistake. But the minister refused to believe him. This is nonsense. Suddenly, thunder roared across the sky. Dark clouds swallowed the sunlight. The frightened elephant cried once more. Golden tears fell to the ground, but instantly turned into black ash. Everyone gasped in fear. The king immediately stood up. Release the elephant at once! The heavy chains were removed. Slowly, the giant elephant stood up peacefully. Before leaving, it turned toward Tenali Raman. Tenali bowed respectfully. I am sorry for what we did. The elephant gently touched Tenali with its trunk, then quietly walked back toward the forest. As the elephant disappeared among the trees, rain suddenly began pouring across the kingdom. Dry rivers filled once again. The dead crops slowly turned green. The people cried with joy. The curse is gone! Later that evening, the king looked at Tenali Raman and said, Today, you did not only save the elephant, you saved the entire kingdom. Tenali smiled wisely. Your Majesty, nature gives treasures freely, but greed turns blessings into destruction. Far away, deep inside the peaceful forest, the sacred elephant stood beside the waterfall once again. This time, no golden tears fell, because the forest was finally at peace.